that's a devastating volley, my goodness me. Let's take the flanks. It's gone. Greetings and welcome to episode 95 of my Empire Total War Darth Mod Great Britain campaign. This, my friends, is how we left it last time. As you can see here around Lyon, we really have started now to move in that army group, the elite army group we've put together now from forces from the Polish front. Now, the reason we've been able to do that is because we have a peace with Poland now. Many of the councils say, Mallet, the peace will only be brief. Absolutely could not agree more with the council. Once again, the council really has guided our hand here wonderfully. It really has. But what it's done is push back the Poles. Remember, the Poles were sort of strung out along from Coburg to Cassel all the way to Munster. They were obviously aiming for Amsterdam here, but we managed to put in peace. We gave them a real thrashing. We effectively picked off their armies in Hanover here. I think, and the council does tend to agree, that that real beating we gave them really did push their hand towards the peace treaty and brought them to the table, as it were. But the council have also said, man, be very wary of the Poles. This is just something that's going to be a fleeting peace. But what it will do is give us time to get ourselves in good order here. Now, as you can see, we've brought in all of our forces here along the border from Hanover, so they're stretching effectively from Rhineland all the way to Brandenburg. As you can see here, we've brought them all up to full strength. We've got a few details to fill in here. We've got a couple of regiments that do need fully replenishing, but effectively we have brought them up to full strength, all the regiments along here. We are facing the majority here, the Polish forces that are mustered here in Saxony and Brandenburg. Now, unfortunately, the US, our staunch ally, did lose Saxony, but that was obviously on pretty much inevitable, to be honest with you. They didn't really have the resources to commit because they are in the midst of a war with Canada and also with the native Indians in North America. So this was effectively, it bought us time by giving them Dresden, but what it has done is it's given the Poles now the means to be able to sort of start replenishing. As you can see here, this is the force that took it, but they haven't been able to bring these up to full construction here, but that's not to say they won't. They will, and they've also got Prague and Berlin, so they've got this sort of, and they still have Vienna, so they've got this spine now of production here, which is going to give us a lot of trouble. But that's not to say that we can't and will not defend ourselves. You know, we've got this army here. Look at that, that's a wonder. Now, that's going to be moved to Munich. We can pretty much guarantee that the Poles will probably move against Munich pretty much straight away. So we need to reinforce Munich as quickly as we possibly can. Now, it is fully fortified. As you can see here, defended by a wonderful force here. Not so much cavalry, but plenty of infantry and howitzers. So we have effectively put in garrison a force that is effectively a defensive force, just to hold on. And if any of these forces, I mean, look around here. I mean, that is extraordinary amount of forces here from the Poles. It really is. Vienna really is the absolute hub of many of their forces. Now, they do have quite a number of good units here, good armies, but nothing really. They haven't coalesced it around a specific sort of army, as it were. There's sort of lots of single, multiple units, but nothing really you would say, well, maybe there's 4 army groups to attack Munich and take it. We are able, therefore, to start building our defences, add some strength and depth here. Now, we've got another force here, which we want to just put in another. We need another. Actually, we could actually do that right now, as you can see. Wait a minute. Oh, no, that is fully repaired there. But this army here, it would be remiss of us not to have this. Look at that. I mean, Royal British Grenadiers, British Fusiliers, Marines. I mean, that really is a wonderful force under Van Wyck. But I think we're going to put another force in. We might just put some Hessen Jaeger in here. Their accuracy is quite high here as well. I don't believe we've got anything else we can put in here. We are going to keep this army in Cologne because, again, it is fully garrisoned and also fully fortified. I don't think we've got any more force we can use here. We might send this army. I think we might use this army, put it here in Cassel, because it'll just add a little bit of depth to the defence here along here. That's where the main brunt of the Polish force is going to come from. We'll move this force down here. We've got this force here. We could always get settlement fortifications, but there's a big investment here in Stuttgart. I think we'll just move this army. This army's loitering here with no real intent at the moment, so I think we'll just send them to Cassel here, just to add that more depth, as you can see, because this is going to be the main battleground. We'll just send them here. If the council has any other requirements for that army, we can, of course, move it elsewhere. We've also landed this army from Britain, and we're going to move it here, but there has been a call for us to possibly move it into France, or even move it towards the border between Spain and France and deal some damage to the Spanish armies that are sort of pouring through this border here. Now, we also bring together another army here outside Paris. We have this force here in Orleans, as you can see here. That's a wonderful force, it really is. Again, it's going to require an additional arm. We might just pull one of these regiments and put that. I think we might use this Swiss line infantry. Let's really pack a punch with this army here. That's a wonderful army there. Now, I think what we might do is start sending a force down to Spain here to start guarding the borders. We've got this army. We gave this army a sound thrashing here with this force here. Actually, we could probably bring this up to full strength now. Repair it. This army here needs replenishing. Why didn't we replenish this army? That is baffling to say the least. So we've now got General Raptor's force now replenishing. It did dish out quite a hammering to that Spanish force. We're also going to have to disembark one of these naval forces. It's going to have to join and run parallel alongside this push. We've committed a huge force here for us indeed, because although we do have a lot of land, bringing together such a powerful force means we've had to sort of shorten our line. We've had to straighten our line, as it were, pull forces away from this front line with Poland and try and deal with Spain, hopefully to link up the operation here, Operation Shoehorn, which has been designated by Field Marshal as Operation Shoehorn, is to link up with the forces around Naples. Now, if they attack us around here, it will weaken them severely, but it'll give a chance for this force here to move in, take Turin, Genoa, Milan, move down here and join up with forces, maybe even crush, take all of Italy under British control. What a boon that would be, my goodness me. But as the council say, we might have to engage this force here. Now, they may move against us. Now, ideally we don't want to fight this force here, not because we are afraid of them, but because we want to try and keep this army group intact, so that when it attacks Turin, when it attacks Milan, it's at full strength. But if they do engage us, we will fight them, because that will effectively nullify these two armies, and it will free up these armies to push against the Spanish border. So these armies won't have to move down and deal with this Spanish force here. They can move against Spain, the Spanish, maybe even move into Spain proper and start harassing and haranguing the Spanish ourselves. But if it doesn't happen, we've got to fight. Then we will have to probably spend more time in France, replenishing, repairing, bringing additional forces in. But we will see what happens soon, my friends. We've got to bring these forces together. But the men are recuperating, resting in Lyon for what is to come. It's going to be a huge operation. Now, Again, as I was saying, we're going to try and bring a naval force with them, a task force with them. But can we move through here without being hindered by any... We're not sure what's in here, so we might have to quickly just reconnoitre what's going on in here. Do any sloops, I wonder, available? Pretty sure we do. I think we've got... No, that's a Heaviest Hampshire. I don't want to draw any of these forces out. There it is. We'll send the York around into Gibraltar, and we might lose this, but it's got to be something we've got to do. We've got to reconnoitre what's going on here. Ah, there it is. Now we're not going to be able to move in. We could blockade this, and that way we can have the force move in, then pull back out. So we might have to send two forces down. One to blockade this, so we can push the fleet into the Mediterranean. But once it's in the Mediterranean, it is then effectively on its own. But at least we've got the ports here around Italy to be able to put it into, if needs be. So we might have to do that. We'll pull this sloop back. We know what's there now. We don't know what's in here though. But again, we can see what's happening with Spain. They do have a lot of forces in Portugal, my goodness me. And here, that's a strong army, my goodness me, there in Salamanca. Not too powerful here. But again, at least we know what we're up against. We might have to send two fleets. One fleet will blockade Gibraltar. The other fleet will slip by and move into the Mediterranean proper. So that's the plan. We'll move this force back because we need this to be able to ship our armies back and forth. I don't believe we're putting any more recruitment here. No. And we've opened up Bristol again. So we might have to pull two of our fleets. So we have to pull this fleet, or this fleet at least, and this fleet will be pulled away, and then they will be used to blockade and slip through. The other fleet will then be pushed back. We've got to be careful we're not caught by any Spanish fleets as well. We've got these steamships as well, which is excellent to see. But this one has to stay on the trade line here because we are hitting the Spanish trade line here. So to that end, we might just start building our these forces here. Remember, Poland is peaceful with them. I've also been called upon to actually send a gift to Poland as well. It's a wonderful suggestion. Just to sweeten them up. They're hostile with us, as you can see. Minus 96 now. But we're going to send them... I think we'll send them a state gift. Can we send them a state gift? We can. Now that's a little bit too hefty there. We'll give them some finest china. Or a thoroughbred. We'll send them a thoroughbred. Because that's 10 down. Yeah, thoroughbred. Let's send them a thoroughbred here. Let's just see. Just now they're unfriendly with us here. That was an excellent suggestion, a wonderful suggestion there. Hopefully that will start to tip the balance here in our favour. So we've sent them one of our finest horses. Hopefully that will sweeten the deal. Now we've secured what we can here. We're bringing this army. Well, it's going to be crucial what happens here now. They may engage us because they may want to move along the Paris road here. So you can see Marseille to Paris has this one long road that comes all the way up to here into Paris. I would like to send this force ideally down to deal with the Poles, maybe solidifying around Stuttgart as well to give us that extra depth. I don't think we could do anything else here. Of course, we've got a Spanish force here as well harassing us. We have a force in the Mediterranean anyway. So do we need to put another force into the Mediterranean? Mind you, having two fleets in the Mediterranean would give us substantial power here, particularly against the Spanish here, but also against the Poles along the Adriatic as well. So we might send another fleet in just to give us extra power here. We've got to be very careful here. We're at war with Russia, and we're trapped, sandwiched here. Got to hope now that if they move against us, we've got to be prepared for that. So we might increase what we've got. We can keep an eye on things, what's going on. We know we've got the Spanish here, but we've got to accept. That force would be dealt a cruel blow if they might have moved against Cairo. Cairo is at full strength defensive-wise. Let's end the turn here, my friends. This will be crucial now. What happens here? We're going to keep an eye on what's going on here. Also in the New World, we've been council asked us to take Newfoundland, which I think we'll probably do actually. Everything here is well secure here, so we could probably leave this, and we are at peace with all of our neighbours here. And we're allied with the US, which is excellent. Let's just bring this fleet here, this ship here. Let's move and let's take Newfoundland while we've got a chance here. We don't want anybody else taking it. So let's just... Where's the capital? There's the capital here. I think we'll just land here. Go through the port. Or we can take that. We can take that straight off the march. Oh, surrender. No, I think we can take that without even having to fight. Yeah, I know we might lose some men, probably more than we normally would, but I think we can take this straight. Look at that.
Victorious.
Yes, it's ours. That's a wonder. Let's bring it fully under control immediately. I wonder if we can make that a trade port. It is a trade port already, so once that's repaired, it might link in here now. Anything else needs replenishing, repairing? Anything needs upgrading? No, indeed, they've done it for us. Thank you very much. We've also got some lumber mills now, and some fur exchanges as well. That's a wonder. Now, the Inuits here, we'll leave them alone. We're not going to get ourselves buried in too many other fights here. And there's also a seminary here. Look at that, straight away. Straight away. They're happy with us. That's excellent. So again, the council's requests have been followed through, and they've started to bear fruit now. So again, we're starting to get a foothold here in the New World here, and also the council have called for us to move against not only the pirates here, but also the Spanish here in the Caribbean, starting to take away their sort of their money, their mainstay of their money from the Caribbean. Look at that, 23,000 comes from the Caribbean. If we were to unlock that, it would be huge, not only for ourselves, but economically for the Spanish. It would be devastating. They've also got here Iceland, which I hadn't noticed at all, but the council had also seen this and saying we need to take this. I think that might be because they've got a naval hospital here, which can give us a lot of problems. So Reykjavik will be definitely on that task here. They've got a steam, and they've got a steam dry dock here as well. My goodness me, gotta be careful. So again, we can't move too many of our fleets out of here. If our fleet goes in, mind you, do we need another fleet in the Mediterranean? We've already got this fleet in here. I'll leave that to the council. I'll just leave that open there. Oh, that's more like it, 40,000. And we're hitting Russia and Spain at the same time. But will they come for us here? Not with this fleet, probably in situ. I doubt they will. Right, let's end the turn, my friends. We're going to keep an eye on what's going on here. This is crucial what the Spanish will do. They may avoid us entirely and move along the country road, along the coastal road here, heading for Toulouse and Bordeaux, and then moving around that way. In which case, this army group can slip through, hit Nice, Provence, Turin, Savoy. That'll be our first goal, Savoy. We'll replenish and repair, and then move into Genoa and Milan. Genoa is the heavily guarded, is the most secure location here, but and look how much money they're getting in from here. It's extraordinary for these small towns like this. What's that? Nearly 10. That's over 10,000. Nearly 15,000 just in these three. That's a huge amount of income. Right, let's end the turn here, my friends. Let's see what happens. I hope all of you been well, my friends. All of you been safe and staying safe. Now let's see what they do here. Ah, look at this now. They're starting to loiter with intent. Looks like they're going to reinforce. They might see what's coming down here. Ah, look at that. They're going to bypass us. It's absolutely perfect. We don't mind that. We don't mind that at all. I know they're hitting some of our towns here, but we can bring that under control. Let's see what Poland does. Hopefully Poland will keep away from us now for a while. Bring down that diplomatic negativity they have with us. Get it under control. Maybe Russia might be open to some peace as well. Now, they're starting to pull away from our shores now, as you can see. They're starting to pull back into the Mediterranean. obviously going to repair that fleet. Mind you, what a tussle we've had with the Poles. What a tussle it has been. It has been a fight and a half, considering we were trapped down in Istanbul and just a small enclave of Greece and Istanbul for a very, very long time, until the council made the plan and said, man, move against France, take France, build your sort of empire from there. Look where we are now. We've got most of West and Central Europe is under our control. Britain is an absolute industrial powerhouse. We've also now got our footprint in the New World. We can and will, my friends, not be pushed back again, not again. That's what Poland is now. Obviously got a lot on them going on here in their mind here. What are they going to do? Do have a lot of sort of individual units they can move around here, but keep a close eye on what they're doing. See what Russia does as well, because Russia is still at war with Russia, but my goodness me, Russia is absolutely vast. But they are in a real tussle with Sweden, which is good because Sweden is an ally of ours. Yeah, they're pulling a lot of their fleets back here. That's a huge amount of troops. I cannot overstate how many troops that is they've got there. But they're pulling away from the front line here, so we might have to reconsider our own front lines. Russia. What will Russia do here? Here we go. Yeah, no, they're not. They're actually moving. I wonder if they're going to try and move into the Mediterranean against our... Because we might have to send another fleet in there, mightn't we? Because we're building another fleet in Portsmouth. We might have to move another fleet into the Mediterranean to really guard what we're doing there, because it's going to be a brutal fight against Spain and Russian forces in there. Russia here, hitting the trade line there as well, so that's affecting us, but not too much. Sweden, come on Sweden, you've got to pull your act together here. That's good to see they're putting together an army here, but what realistically can they do with that? Oh, did they just hit Spanish? Did they just hit Spain then? Mughal Empire? Courland. Oh, look at how much damage has been done. Whoa, Stockholm was under... Don't tell me Stockholm has just fallen. Do not tell me Stockholm has just fallen. United States, come on now. Ideally we need United States on this side of the Atlantic. Looks like that the Canadians are going to move in against them perhaps. Mind you, we just got to watch out for our own what's happening with us here. So we trade there, it's been raided. We knew that was happening there. Now that we know all these have been hit here, we've got to get this army up and running here. Still got a long ways to go yet, but what it's done is opened up here. Moving. Yes, that's a wonder. We're gonna move to Provence. I think we might hit this here. Can all of these army? They can indeed. That's a wonder.
Yes, sir.
Right. Operation Shoehorn is now fully full effect. We're going to send Field Marshal Ernok in first to hit Nice.
Ready and awaiting orders. Sir.
Then we shall have General Lincoln.
Sir.
Actually, I think we'll have General Charles in here supporting.
Immediately.
And then we shall have General Lincoln moving into Provence. Look at that. A full British army group as now in Spanish territory. Look at that. That's a wonder. Now they understand what's coming against them. What they've put in here. They've put together a decent force here with these moving in as well, but I don't think it's going to be enough to stop this, to be honest with you. We're going to move our spy to here so we can see what's going on in here. Nothing we can't handle here, to be honest with you. They have got quite a decent few number of decent units here, but we're not going to spend 7,800 repairing that just yet. We're coming in here 2,000, 21,000.
Your Majesty?
I think what we'll do is we'll send this gentleman all the way through to here.
You?
Intel is going to be absolutely critical here
Perhaps you
of what's around here. But will they pull these forces back to deal with this army group that's moved in? Perhaps. That's a wonderful force in your lead. Look, Now we can start to move against them. Now we're going to start to move against these. We're going to deal with this force first. Then we'll have this army here to deal with the remnants of this army here. Once at a full strength. These two armies are going to move down to deal with this. I think we're going to send this force into Paris as well. Into France, I beg your pardon, to deal with this. We're going to put this army group together here. I think we might even move this army group into Spain, as the council's been requesting, using this force here as a force to guard against what is to come. We won't repair this here, but we'll repair anything else until this is dealt with. Now, we wanted this army here and moved in closer to Bavaria. To Munich here. That's a wonder. They've stripped this force away here.
You're humble, sir. Lord.
Are we missing any troops along any of these armies here? Like that there.
Yes. Sir, your orders at the ready. March!
This is now time when we've got to bring all the forces up to full strength here. No army must be... Ah, there it is there. Perfect.
Sir, your orders?
I'm going to pull this army here. This army here is going to be pulled in a little bit closer. So we are...
Men! Forward! Take ready!
This gentleman down here, slightly here. No, we've got some depth here as well with this army being in here. We do need to put another force, another up there. I think what we'll do, what have we got in here? I think another cavalry unit will do us absolutely fine here. The cuirassier.
Anything more?
Oh, look at the Marines there. What we've got here, Ireland. We've got the Irish Volunteers. Well, I do like the Irish Volunteers. They're a wonderful force. Plenty of cannons, so we'll move these gentlemen down into England, and also the Irish Volunteers are moving down there as well. We're going to put another army together there. Excellent. There we know what's happening with Toulouse. Oh, look at this. Oh, let's look at that. All at full strength. And Dijon, Orléans, Oxford and Cambridge now have full capacity here. That's fine. We know what's coming our way. What the blazes? -2 to morale.
Yes, sir. Your Majesty.
It's good as none of our elite units, at least. We still got to be on our guard, though. We're almost ready. We are almost ready. Unless they double back here, in which case we will trap them against this. We'll move this army group in and destroy them. But this army here should be ready. Almost ready now. Next turn. Mind you, they took a real pasting in that battle, didn't they? My goodness me. And can we reinforce any more here? Probably can. Let's send this Marine regiment here. I think we'll have Frankfurt. We'll put them in Frankfurt. And we'll start putting some more other army together. Another army together, potentially. We don't want to overstretch ourselves too much. And the real quandary is, do we send another naval force into here?
Ready.
Do we send another naval force into there? That's the real key question.
Ready for action.
That's not changing anything at all. We're still ready. Oh, Spain have got nothing in here at all. Poland now they got a lot of money coming in through here. But what's happened? Oh, don't believe it. It's fallen to the Russians. That's a real problem for us there. Because if Sweden falls, we've got a lot of problems. A lot of problems. Luckily they're putting together quite the force here. So I'm hoping they can take it back. We cannot help them at the moment. We simply cannot dispatch an army to help them at all. Unless the council has other advice, but I'd like to try and deal with this down here. If we can deal with this, we can probably dispatch maybe an army group to help the Swedes, but ideally I like to keep all this army groups together. This army group will be disbanded in terms of its current force. It won't be staying in Italy. It might even be moved against Spain. That might be the key to that. But I think we can end this turn here now and see what comes our way. Or we might even send some of the forces into the New World. Start to hit the Caribbean might of Spain. Look at that. Spain's got 9,000 coming in here. Actually, that's dropped. That was 24,000 there for Spain. Mughal Empire, my goodness me. Are we at war with... Oh, we're at peace with the Mughal Empire, that's good. Mind you, look at the Russian income from... My goodness me. That is extraordinary. 32,000. The trade with them is huge. Now let's have a look at what's happening here in the Middle East. We've got to be vigilant here. They haven't moved at all, which is good to see. So I think we'll keep things as they are now at the moment. Now what's our tax levels here? If we were to do that and that, would that increase this here? Oh dear, we can't. Wow, we can't do that. Okay. That's not going to work there. We've got to keep that as it is. Wow. We don't have a lot of scope for, but we need it. That's why we need to take all of this to start bringing our own economy in here. Right, let's end the turn. Let's see what happens here, my friends. Oh, Operation Shoehorn. What a wonderful sight that's going to be. Look at that, they definitely I wonder if they're going to move. No, they're not. They're going down the Paris road as we initially thought. And now I wonder if they're going to make a move and try and... No, they're not. They're not. What will Poland do? They're actually pulling away from the front lines. Have we turned the tide with Poland for the meantime? If we have, it'll stabilise our front lines considerably. Poland. I'm not sure what their plan is here. It's very unusual, but for Sweden to lose Stockholm like that, that's a huge blow, not only to them, but to us as well. Because it effectively almost puts Russia in our backyard, as it were. We only hope that Sweden can push them back. That's got to be our hope there. Poland obviously working on what it wants to do here, taking its time to decide whether it's... Hopefully the peace will last a bit longer than we hope it will, because it just gives us a little bit of time there to get ourselves absolutely secure against another war. Taking their time now, Poland, really taking their time to decide what they want to do here. There it is, his movement. Ah, look at that, my goodness me. There's so much troop movement there and so much build up there. If they unleash that upon us, we really will be up against it. Now what will Russia do here? Wait a minute, sir. Oh, look at that. Oh, they did lose a few ships there, the Russians. What are they going to do? Are they going to move further against Sweden? As you can see here, there's just that green mark on the map there here, in between everything else that Sweden has. What will Sweden do? Will they move against them here? They're obviously building up an army to move against them. Without doing anything at all. That is a menace. Poland, United States. I think the United States will move against Canada. I think that's going to be their ultimate goal. Wow, looks like they're hitting the trade line there for Poland and Spain. And they've moved back their forces here to Quebec. Pirates, don't do it, pirates. Oh, that's good. Actually, that's perfect. Now they're separated like here. We can deal with this now. Look at that army's now ready to move against this one here. And then we're going to move these armies against this and this. And now we've blocked off this. They can't see anymore, but we're going to go up against a heck of a force here. We won't just move against them just yet. That's going to be a difficult fight there. I might send in General Charles here first, but free bottle man. Excellent. Get rid of Lyon, that's fine. Aha! Let's bring that up to full strength. Wow, that's a huge jump in money. So we've got that now up to full strength here. What will that bring in? Wow, 1,600 regional wealth. That is superb. I think we'll put. I think this army. I think we're gonna have to deal with these Spanish armies here. So let's first of all replenish, repair here, the vineyard, here as well, and here. Let's make a statement of intent. There's a lot of money just there at the moment. Lyon, which was our forward operating base for this particular army group, which they haven't moved against, if you notice. Mind you, I wonder if we attack Turin, it's going to bring in all of this. No, it's not. I only think they can only help unless these armies bring in this army here as well. No, there's the line here. So this won't be affected at all. That's their line here. So these won't be dragged in at all. If we can isolate and separate these, divide and conquer these here, then replenish here in Turin for a while, and then move against Genoa and Milan. Because they haven't moved against this at all. well under control there. So I think what we'll do, no we won't do that just yet. But we have to deal with these armies here, we have to deal with them. So I think the first thing we're going to do is going to deal with this menace force here that's been really pestering us for a while. And then we're going to move against this army here. Let's have a look at this army here, look at that. That's a very, look at that Royal Cuirassier Guards as well, that's a very strong force, indeed. We won't replenish any of these yet, we're wasting our money otherwise. This here we can because we're close to our forces, but I think we're going to make a move here. Oh yeah, definitely. We'll move against this army here. We'll have this force in as a security force, but we'll send this force in probably against this army here, which is not of the same caliber as this one. Excellent. Yes, it will reach, which is excellent to see. Before we do that, let's make sure that everything here is absolutely secure, ready to go. I would like to probably send these gentlemen to...
Set sail.
Ship's orders, Captain. What do you require of me? Aye. Boarding.
So now we can send these gentlemen here to... I wonder if we can send them around to Spain. Around to here, and we can see what's going on, just so we can know once this army group's dealt with the Spanish forces there, we can probably move them into position.
Ship shape and Bristol fashion.
And what we'll do is we'll just send them down to here for the meantime.
Any orders? Ready for action. Aye, aye,
I am resting.
orders. Weigh anchor.
Into Brest here. Now we've got these gentlemen here. We're going to have a proper reconnoitre here
How may I serve?
of Spain. I know we've got this gentleman here.
Sir.
Actually, no, he's not ours. He's Russian. We're just going to check what's down on the coast. We're going to check everything along. We'll check along here as well.
An exercise in folly.
But our main task is this force here. Before we do that, I think we'll send our army group into here. We'll besiege this here. It'll give us a better understanding of what's going on. I think we'll send in General Charles first, and then we'll have General Ernuk as a reserve. We will need to keep General Ernuk's army here as a sort of the final punch. Or we might, I think we'll send in General Ernuk's force in anyway here, straight off the bat. Mind you, we might be engaged in a fight straight away here. So first things first, let's get these forces up ready.
Forwards for crown and country. Yes, sir.
Will that trigger a battle there? We don't want to be isolated at all. That's what we don't want.
Prepare the troops for battle. Yes. Yes, sir. Onwards. Online for battle.
Oh, look at that. Demand surrender. Nope, we shall continue to look at this here. It's always dragged in all of them. All of these have been dragged in. That's what we wanted.
Settlement under siege.
Now, we've got that under siege, but what we're going to do there is we're going to drag in a huge... All of these forces are going to be dragged in, which means the Battle of Turin is now underway. I think before we end this episode here, my friends, we're going to then move against this Spanish force here, which is very, very strong indeed. So this Spanish force here is going to be engaged. Before we do that, we're just going to move our forces in here. Make sure that we don't get caught on the hop here.
Forward.
Oh, wow. Wasn't expecting that. This army will not be able to take on that lot. We're going to retreat.
Fall back. In position.
So that means these forces can... How the blazes can they help each other? That means we've got to use this force here and this force to do it.
Your humble servant. Make ready. Hot. More orders. Onwards. Awaiting further orders.
And what we'll do is we'll move this army into here then. I know that leaves Paris slightly undefended, but still, I think we've got pretty much all of this under control then. So we'll just bring all of this back under our control now, which it is. Replenishing, repairing along here. We'll repair that because we're going to start to drag in these forces here now. They're obviously going to aim for Paris, but if we cut them off here... hopefully catch them on the hop here and try and drag them away from here. But that, my friends, where I'm going to end this episode here. I know it's without a battle, but our main goal was to engage the Spanish here in Turin. And if it had obviously had moved in a bit too close here, so this obviously automatically triggers that battle there with this force. This army here would not be able to deal with these two together. There's no point in throwing this army away to almost just, you know, out of sheer stubbornness. So what we'll do is we'll just move the armies here, move them into position, and then engage this Spanish force here. Deal with this one, because this one is by far the most dangerous. And then we'll deal with this one. This army here, the remnants of this will effectively be over. We might send this army then here to the border to sort of stop anything coming along. We've also effectively stopped the movement now of any Spanish forces, unless they bypass us here in Genoa and move along. That might be the case, but this is where we wanted to be now. Now with the Poles, I say how our diplomatic is doing. This only minus 60 now, which is good to see they're unfriendly. Still means we'll probably get some war with them eventually, but it is slightly less evident that might happen very quickly. State gift is given a plus 90, so we won't give another state gift just yet. Not until we've dealt with this here. Once we've got the north of Spain under control, then that's when we can really start to stretch our legs a bit. Then we can come down from here. We can probably besiege Rome, and then we can move these armies against Rome as ourselves, and then just crush the last resistance. We'll probably move against Calgary here as well. We might even use these armies to move against Tunis, start rolling up north and Mount North Africa, and then effectively take Madrid, Lisbon, and then destroy the Spanish Empire. But this is the beginning of that process. This Operation Shoehorn is the start of that process. My goodness me, what a fight it's going to be. What a fight. Anyway, friends, I'm going to end this episode here. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, thank you all for your wonderful comments, your wonderful suggestions, your wonderful strategies and tactics. My apologies for bringing out, you know, the delay in each episode, but as you can imagine, things are very, very busy behind the scenes, my friends. As always, please be safe, my friends. Keep the comments coming down below. They've been absolutely wonderful. They really, really have. Your support as well, absolutely fantastic. Please be safe whatever you do, my friends, especially now, the way the world is. Please be safe. But until next time, my friends, bye for now.